Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Married at First Sight reunion special and panel discussion. I am Glenn from Jack and Glenn. Jack will be joining us a little bit later, but I'm also on my girl, my big sis, Talisa Ray. What's going on, Talisa? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Glenn, how are you? How is everything?
Everything
How
is
was your
going well.
Father's Day? How was your Father's Day? Since nobody saw you last week, I'm sure we all want to know.
It was wonderful. We had a good time, and we had man, we relaxed a little bit, we ate a little bit, we laughed and had fun. So it was a good, enjoyable day. Kids got me some gifts, and it was just enjoyable. I was able to say Happy Father's Day to my father and talk to him and do some things. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Always a good time when you celebrate it. You know, it's good to be
Yeah,
celebrated. It's good to be celebrated every once in a while.
you deserve to be celebrated every day because the
Oh,
Glenn I know is an excellent father. He's an
wow,
excellent
I
mentor as well.
appreciate it.
So you deserve to be celebrated all the time.
Wow, appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, we had a great time. Everybody was it was nice. It was nice. Yeah, no complaints. But it's been a week, and how you been doing? Before we get into Married at First Sight, we family, y'all, so we want to check on each other. So how you been doing? You doing
I'm
well?
okay. Yeah, I'm okay. So this weekend was an excellent weekend because the basketball tournaments were canceled. One of his practices was canceled. So I actually felt like I had a full weekend. Friday no practice, Saturday, Sunday no tournament. So I actually slept in 2 days in a row. I haven't done that in forever. So if I look like I'm glowing, it's because I am.
I see it. I see the cheekbones, the laughter, and everything. It feels
Yeah, the
good.
rest, that whole rest and relaxation, we is so underrated. It's so important. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm off my soapbox.
Now you good to go, man. We're gonna talk about Married at First Sight reunion that just happened this past part one of the reunion that happened this past Wednesday night, which I enjoyed Kevin Frazier. I'm sorry, I don't know anybody else. I enjoyed the questions. I enjoyed the way he flipped the questions on them trying to get an answer. And we talked about it before we got started. I want to start with Arris because he frustrated both of us this week, right? We want to start with Arris and Jasmine. We'll get to their little panel discussion and all the questions they had later, but we get to Arris and Jasmine, and I'm like, dude, why don't you just answer the question, right? Isn't that what we as viewers wanted to know all year long, right? All season long, and we know the season's still going on. We wanted to know why. What was it that you was not attracted to, and what was it that you did not like from day one? After you said she was beautiful coming down the aisle, it seemed like it went south. To Lisa, how did Arris frustrate you?
It went downhill. I was just like, okay, so first off, they were sitting, and I know that they had to sit a specific way to look at Kevin Frazier. I do enjoy that he's messy and he asks the questions that we be wanting to know. And for him, Eris, not to answer the question that every single person who watches Married at First Sight, what was it? What was the turning point? Why didn't you? For him to go in circles around it was crazy to me. We all knew that it was physical. You know what I mean? He was like, "Oh, I don't want to embarrass her. We've talked about it in private." And honestly, if I was Jasmine, I probably would have been like, "Go ahead and let it be known." See, what had happened was you didn't want everybody to see how shallow you were when we already knew how shallow you were. Like, so his reasoning behind it, I don't want to share because I don't want to. And we're really good friends, sir. She's not your friend. She's not your friend. And you signed up to be a part of this experiment. And you should have said, I didn't like her after I realized that she was reserved. Because when her friend came out, was it Adrian? I don't remember her name. When she came out and
Yeah,
she
I think so.
said, yeah, when she came out and she said, I think his problem was that Jasmine was reserved. And she was like, had he gotten to know her, he probably would have found out that she was Megan the Stallion when those cameras came off. I thought he probably felt real stupid because you made an assumption about her that was not valid, not true. And I don't know. I don't know, Glenn. I ain't like him then. I still don't like him now because to me it just feels like he's not being authentic and honest with himself either.
Nah, I don't think he is. I think he's to the point where he didn't want to embarrass her and didn't want people to come after him. That's what he used. But he said if I say what I want to say, people are gonna come after me, bruh. Say it right. This is what the reunion is all about. Go ahead and say, you know what, I was maybe not been attracted to her demeanor, right? I may not be attracted to the way that her size, or whatever case. She might be too small. You know, they even showed the clip of him talking about he somewhere between Zendaya and Serena Williams, right? Like, bruh, it's okay. If she's not what you looking for, what you want it to have, it's fine. I told Jack what I want to do. I want to see the girl, the mutual friend they have, and see what she looked like, right?
I don't want to see what she looks like. I was hoping that he was going to be like, well, we being messy, and we asked her if it was okay to put her photo up. It would have been perfect, because how far off is she? Even Jasmine, though, said, I look nothing like her. We are opposites of the spectrum, you know.
Yeah. So I understand. And then for them to be friend zoned since the honeymoon, and for him to play for them to play up the camera for the next 8 weeks, to me is like, okay, y'all did it for the paychecks, because you knew that you weren't going to stay together anyway. He friend zoned you since the honeymoon night, like,
right.
At least we got an honest answer about that he plays up for the cameras. Like, he just says things just so that production can get a rise, or we can get as fans or viewers can get a rise. She's like, he'll say 2 things and the third thing just be off the wall. And he said, when I get bored with production, I just say stuff. So, okay, what is your first sexual position with something he just said?
Probably. Yeah. But and in all honesty, though, has she answered it? Has she been like reverse cowgirl? It would have looked entirely different. If she had said anything other than what kind of question is that, or looked at him sideways, I feel like it would have been different. And then, like you said, she's been friend zoned since the honeymoon, but I really think that she was hopeful for a really long time that possibly him getting to know her would turn things around, and it just didn't work out. She kept saying it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. This is not the reality that I wanted. And I really feel for her. I also thought she looked absolutely gorgeous. She's gotten that bottom row of her teeth fixed, like whoever that was that said it the last time we were on, said it was speculation. I'm glad that she did that, because we all talked about her really bad.
Right.
Sorry, Jasmine, but I'm glad you did something with your teeth.
But even if I'm glad she got them fixed. But if I'm Arris, right? If it's something that like cosmetically, like teeth, those can be fixed, right?
Yeah,
you can get veneers. You can go down to Tijuana, Mexico, or go online, whatever case, and order one of them things. I don't even know what they call it. You can just clap on.
Right? Yeah, the Invisalign, but they not Invisalign.
They're not Invisalign that you can clap on. So again, you can fix those type of things. I agree with some people in the chat that she just wasn't a freak. Take that back. She wasn't a freak on camera. On camera, she was going to be a ladylike. It's just like go back to a season of Boston where Katina carried herself a certain type of way on the episode, but Elijah wants to say, man, when these cameras go away, she be giving me the business, because she understands.
Yeah,
she understands where she works. I think we have to understand too, viewers. She worked with young girls, right? Yeah. She worked with kids, so she didn't want to put herself out there to the point where the kids can go back. Hey, Miss Jasmine, look how you acted. My mama said you acted donkey on that show. You know what I'm saying? And so she didn't want to mess with her business, because her business is kids. So some parents feel like she went off the way, or what do you teach my daughter, could jeopardize her money.
Absolutely. But I always feel like there's a way to say the same things without being raunchy, talking about the gooch in this position. She could have just been like, when those doors closed, I'm something else. You know what I mean? She could have said a lot of things that would have hinted, but I really feel like she is less experienced than him. He did throw her off, and she is very reserved. But I also feel like she would have been willing to do all the things. I feel like if he had showed her any type of interest, she would have been open to all the things. Oh, let's try it. I'll try it one time. I really feel like that, but I really feel sorry for her.
And she's a preacher's kid, but I know a lot of preacher kids who do a lot of different things when they're married.
Every PK I know. Okay, was growing up was bad AF, and then they nice reserved adults now, successful adults now, but them doors closed, they be an entirely different person. And a married bed is not defiled, so if they're married, they're doing whatever they do. Even the ones that's not married, who am I to judge? Because I'm not married. So so I'm just saying, like, it's a way to convey that you're open to things. I just felt like he threw her off, and she just was, I'm closed off, and you don't, it's too much that you're asking me off all these people, and I don't know how to respond to that. which
Yeah.
also says about when they talked about the cousin Felina.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You go ahead, because
Because
Felina.
Felina, he and Arris was more loyal to his cousin than his wife, and I can understand me. They knew they haven't built a relationship yet. But if I'm going to be in a relationship with this woman, I have to respect her and listen to her feelings. And I'm gonna tell my cousin like, yo, hold off for a minute. All these comments you're making, I need you to stop because this is my wife. He did. He could agree with his cousin 100%. All he had to do was tell Felina like, you know what, this is my new wife. Let us get to know each other. Reserve your comments till later. This is day number 1 or day number 2 after we knew each other. I don't know her yet. You
Right.
don't know her. You don't know her yet. But do me a favor, right? Stay off of her. And when she came back to the whole room and said, your cousin was doing this, Eric should have said, hold on for a minute, Jasmine. Let me make a phone call for Lena. This is what I need you to do. Because that would have showed Jasmine, oh, I can trust him. I can,
Yes.
you know what? He got my back. And you can tell she was hot because when Mac said something, she's like, She about to bite Mac's head off. Mac was like, he backed up easily and quick. Like, you know what? I don't want this one.
Yeah, I don't want this smoke. And when he said, that they had just come off of getting married, remember the marriage, the reception, and then they had that family meet and greet brunch. And that's when she had made all those comments. And he said, when you got back, it was 16 hours. You looked like you had a 16-hour shift, which to me says it was a rough interaction. Your response could have been, I'm so sorry that you had this experience. Tell me more. Even if you don't agree, well, you could have just been like, I'm here to support you. You are my wife. Let's see how we can work through this. Anything other than, I like a strong woman. Sir, I think that Jasmine has shown definite resilience and character. She showed me what it looks like to set your boundaries. I don't know who that was that said that. Oh, it was Gina, and I was nodding my head. Yes, Gina.
Mm-hmm.
Because that strong black woman trope, I'm over it. Like strong looks so different, and hers, I'm really proud. I'm really proud of how Jasmine responded today. Like I wanted her to show up like this kind of the entire season. Like if she had checked Arris the way she was checking Mac, he probably would have been all over her. But
he would have loved it because he wanted to see that. He wanted that person to kind of check him. Again, I think it's mommy syndrome. When you're just the only child, your mama's always on you and everybody's doing everything for you or always on you. I think Arris liked to be checked, but Jasmine wanted to keep it down and relax. Also, she like, I don't know, Felina. I'm not gonna go crazy on this girl here. And next thing you know, we got families battling. Because remember, we know how we do, right? We know how family's still at the hotel. My cousin is still here. My family,
that spicy auntie.
right. Auntie's still here, right? And so auntie's, she go tell her auntie, Felina saying this. Next thing you know, we got a married at first sight brawl on our hands. Married at first sight melee. You know what I'm saying? So she kept it in check, and she dealt with it with her husband, and he didn't know how to handle it because it was family, and he was more loyal to his family than he was to his wife. And I think that's the key. And that was one of the she even forgave him after that though a little bit. She was like, okay, let's move on. We're on the honeymoon. That's not, but he still couldn't get it because he still wanted to invite the cousin. We remember when they had the party or whatever, they had an invited family member. Jasmine was like, she ain't coming. She ain't coming to my house. Nope.
Perfect. And he should have respected that. Like the whole, why would you want her to be in a situation that is uncomfortable and aggressive? Because Felina brings the energy that says, I'm a problem and you're going to be a problem too. I'm about to be confrontational and I'm about to call you on the spot on everything. Why would you want that for your wife who just 24 hours ago, you was like, she's pretty. Oh, this was a good match. You should just walk down the aisle. I don't know. Hey, Jackie. Hi. Your hair looks beautiful. Jackie looked like, listen, not yet. Give me 5 more minutes, sis. Give me 5 more minutes.
Yeah, she will. Yo, it is funny how even with Felina, and I want to go back real quick with Felina, how nobody else, even other family members, didn't check her. If you go back to the conversation, no one else in the family like, yo, You know, you grab that. You have that one family member. Yes, you know you need to hold their hand or sit close to when conversation. Or you just cringe every time they talk. Like, please don't say
Might be
nothing.
me. I might be that family member.
Like, please don't say nothing.
Please watch her. Somebody sit with her and just sit with her because she be saying she'll say whatever, not really, but sometimes.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
one like that too with my mama. She don't watch my
I hope,
thing.
I hope nobody in your family is on here today or comes back and watch because they're gonna tell. Okay,
She know. They all know. My sister-in-law might be laughing right now because she know too. But anyway, but nah, but you have that person that you're like, oh man, they're gonna say something. And Arris knows Felina's that, and she knew Arris, right? Now the advice that Felina did give was correct because Arris wasn't about that life to be married. He wasn't ready. It's just the way that she came at Jasmine was totally wrong. Like, oh,
right.
almost like she was jealous, right?
Right.
Like you're a pageant queen that you can do all this, that you giving pageant queen answers. What you mad at, sis?
Why are you mad that I'm articulate and poised? What is
Correct.
the problem? And for me to be a pageant queen, that means I have been raised to be articulate and poised.
Mm-hmm.
So these are not rehearsed answers. This is just who I am. I speak clearly. You know, I think about what I'm going to say. You want me to throw up like you doing and just saying whatever when I'm actually taught to think about the things that I say before I open my mouth and say them. Like, you can't be mad at that somebody has some decorum. Like, now, if she would have been bucking the system, y'all would have been fighting. So, like, is that like that's not really, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I commend Jasmine just for her decorum alone. Like, because there's a lot of times she could have probably slapped Arris in the mouth, crossed the head. He was saying a lot of sideways stuff.
And he said stuff that was foolish. Like to me, the other comment he made when they showed the little clip, can we have an open marriage in about 20 years? Like, bruh, in 20 years you want an open marriage? She said, like, you 60. You gonna be 60. So at this point, you gonna get tired of me.
But no, but
we know he was joking, but
yeah,
it was. But again, just for him to say it, because again, I think when you talk, there's a little truth in everything.
He definitely wants an ethically non-monogamous relationship or a consensual non-monogamous relationship. He might have been jesting a little bit, but if she would have said, oh, okay, because then I could find somebody that desires me, he would have been mad. He would have been looking like, or not would have been mad. He probably would have jumped right in. Like, oh, well, let's discuss it further. Like he wants his cake and to eat it too. But I mean, you know, people be like, what you do with cake? That means eat the cake and keep the cake. When people say, just so y'all know,
yeah,
have the cake and the cake. I want to hold it and eat it because you normally eat the cake and it's gone. Never mind, just off.
and I want to skip. She looked disgusted when they showed the clip of Arris. Somebody, I already had sex. Look, I didn't even wait. I didn't wait. I had sex already. We'll get to Clint later, but Arris like, I already had sex. I'm good.
But she also wasn't surprised though either. Though, like he was counting down the days.
He was like an inmate getting ready to get out of jail. Here's a tick mark. I got 5 days left.
And who was waiting? Who was like, "Oh, you ready? I'm ready to." Who was that? That after he was like, "Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a pause. I'm getting married. I'm married at first sight. You know, I'm hoping to get married." And then when they find out that it's not working, who was like, "Okay, daddy." Who was that? What woman in her right mind would do? Maybe he paid for a service.
He might, or he went back to the Instagram girl.
I would hope that mutual friend was. Well, I mean, shit, she might have been like, "This ain't gonna work." He'd be back.
Yep, he'd be back. She probably was like, "Yo," she was waiting. I doubt he didn't call her or tell her, like, you know what, I'm married Jasmine. Or Jasmine didn't reach out to her and say, you know what, oh, man, I know you and Jasmine were friends, and she was like, oh, it ain't gonna work. She ain't me. And that's probably why you saw the attitude change between those two. Even though he's been honest and they've been good friends, she was like, you know what, I'm not dealing with you. We could be friends, but that's it. I think she keeps him at bay, and that's it.
Yeah,
they're cordial.
And Tasia, she said, I bet the women had some too. They just weren't as quick to open up and offer that, offer, hey, yeah, I did it too. I wouldn't doubt it because I'm gonna keep it a band. Okay, if you're a single woman, you got somebody willing to top you off. As a single woman, I could make a few phone calls. I ain't talked to him in forever, but I could say, hey, big head. Hey, stranger. They're gonna know what that is. They're gonna be like, what you doing? Where you at? crazy. So it's definitely you right, Tasia, honey. I
I
hope
was gonna say that. I thought about that too. They never asked the women. The men were just open about theirs.
yeah.
I'm sure Gina.
Gina and Dominique got some.
I would be
Oh,
yeah,
Dominique got some almost instantly. She was never in from the beginning.
Nope.
yeah. I think so. I think Gina and Dominic. If I had to pick two, it'd be Gina and Dominique that had already. I would about to say Jasmine, her and her friend boy.
They might have kissed. They made out. They did some heavy petting. Isn't that what they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some heavy petting. But Gina and Dominique, I think they probably got it.
The person was too angry to even think about talking to somebody else. She was too angry.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Kirsten was like, I'm not dealing.
Yeah.
Not
She
at
probably
all.
was saying, dang, I can't think of the name of that song right now. You could keep my ex. I can't think of it. It's never mind. It's on TikTok because I said it. It's gonna come up in everybody's
Yep.
feed, okay, so when it comes up, you're gonna say, "Oh, that's the song Talisa Ray was talking about." Yep, that's the one.
Yep. Let's just go real quick. Hit Nicole and Chris because Nicole and Chris I thought was cute. Their relationship coming out there with a little fake lie talking about we're not together anymore. Come on, who you fooling? You're not fooling.
But they didn't even do it like real quick. They was like, no, nah, we couldn't do it. We said we were gonna joke. I was like, if they were gonna try to run with it, I knew it wouldn't last long. They did like a 2 whole seconds.
Yeah, not good. I was glad they showed the producer scene where she went to the producers asking about the dogs. I thought that was to me was key right there, and that's when Chris was like, you know what, she might be a keeper. Or Kevin said, I think this is where I think they're gonna be okay, because he was really distraught about the dogs. I keep going back to that. He was distraught and couldn't think clearly. But she seemed like she was a level-headed one in that relationship. So
he said some people might have thought I went, I was overboard. I did. It was too. It was too much.
It was a lot.
Man, he was like, he acted like one of the dogs had died.
Yes.
He wasn't there to bury the dog.
Yeah.
Not I can't take him with me. What?
Right. It was only 8 weeks, sir. Trade them off. But I guess I'm sorry if I'm offending any pet parents.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all I
got.
And I used to be a pet parent, but I'm just, if they I would have found some other. I guess because when you're a fixer, you find some other way. Because Nicole's a fixer in that relationship, and the way she said it, I'm gonna exhaust every situation before I really get emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And he went from straight emotion, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't try to, hey, go talk to the producers. Do I have to move in this apartment, right? Can we move into another apartment? Will we move in together? Can y'all go find, we're here for 7 days. Can y'all go find another apartment where we'll take all 3 of my dogs? If y'all not going to get an apartment, okay. If I can't bring all my dogs, I need production to pay for a kennel for my dogs to be in. Something would have been like, hey, find some avenues, right? That's what I said, JW. If his dog would have died, what would have happened? Good gracious.
Oh, they would have had to scrape him off the floor.
It was something really with, man. Oh, who was that? Yeah, he would have scraped him off the floor. He'd been done. Or he got bit. My Newton got bit. But anyway,
Newton got attacked.
But again, something that happened like that, or the dogs didn't mesh together, and they weren't friends. What would have happened? So to him, hey, my hat's off to him.
But she worked it out.
She worked it out. But he's always gonna be in a relationship where he's gonna keep doing dumb stuff for her though. He doesn't.
I liked when Kevin said because I never see the pre-conversation with the people from whatever outlets, media outlets that they choose, and Kevin in the beginning when they talk about the couples. First off, I think that we need to be on there, like they need some fresh faces with some real opinions, okay?
Yep.
But I like that he said that she was going to drive him crazy. And even though they are making it, she is driving him crazy. She is driving him nuts. He has to continue to be like this even keel, like that whole, she is the doer, the solution person, but he's just kind of appeasing her constantly. I don't know. I feel like they're going to make it because they're definitely opposites. I feel like they'll be one of those people on couples cam, and we'll see them some years from now, happy and everything. But they're gonna constantly, she's the crazy one. Just that's all. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I see. Somebody told me I had to abandon my kid and find another solution.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna be crying. I'm not gonna be crying. And I like the fact that what did her name? Nicole said, well, maybe we could just live apart for a little while because I will. And he was like, if that's not what the experiment is about. Furthermore, y'all know that these people got dogs. You got all these single people that you bringing in, and a lot of people who are single who don't have. I don't want to say that. I'm gonna take that back. So we're gonna rewind. But a lot of these people that are single, they have pet companions, right? Pet children. And so you know that the possibility of one of them having two dogs, because they say it's better to have two dogs than one so that they can keep each other company, is possible. So you got to have some type of like contingency plan. But
yeah.
Answer Tasha's question. He should have. I wanted to know that too because Nicole was in everybody's business, and we got with all the ladies when they was together. Nicole wanted everybody to get back together. Nicole wanted everybody. If you don't know what we're talking about on after party, Shaq mentioned that Nicole would go around at night sliding notes underneath their door telling each couple what they should do to get their relationship sparked or how they should build their relationship back up. So she was too nosy. She admitted to her being nosy when all the girls were getting together, and she admitted to being a big mouth and just being involved in everything. Even when it was like, who do y'all think is best for Kirsten? She like Shaq. Kirsten was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. That ship's gonna sail. Everybody said Shaq and Kirsten should get back together. I don't know. When we get to that couple, I'll let you know he ain't ready.
Well, speaking of her putting notes under the door, that's one thing she talked about. I think when all the couples were on the stage, it was like, how did it feel like becoming an instant celebrity? And she said, I knew what it felt like to have everybody in my business. Like, hint, hint, I be doing that to people. It didn't feel good when the shoe was on the other foot.
Yeah.
She was like, ooh, didn't like that.
It can't be everybody's business. You can't do that. Let's move on. Nicole,
really quick, it's always one person though. Every season, it's always one person. I'm sorry, my son texted me. He want to spend all my money on Uber. First, can I go to the gym and work out with my friends? Then can I go to this mall? And now I want to go from this mall to another one in Uber. Sir, you're spending all my money on Ubers. Anyway, I don't even know what I was going to say. Now I got to respond. Like,
You said it's always one person getting in people's business. It was, what's her name? Justin, Alexis. Alexis was all in stuff the time before.
And then you had Amani in New Orleans. Wasn't that everybody's business? So
that was better.
It's always one. It's always one. Clint and Gina.
They really looked nice together up there. They really did look like they were together up there. That's all I got.
And Clint has a good mind, and he's willing to be like, hey, whatever she want to do. I think Gina likes him, but she just doesn't feel that physical attraction to him or the immaturity. It what throws her off. And he even admitted, I thought she was here just for the business, just to promote her business, just to, hey, get more heads. And she did admit that she had a lot of other stuff going on, which means she can't balance. She couldn't know how to balance. I had a contract to come through. I had people leaving. That's what your husband is there for, to be a support, to lean on, to hang out with, or to be able to discuss things with. I don't think she
didn't want to talk about the business. So how was she going? How was she going to lean on him for support when every time we saw him talking in the beginning, every time we seen him talking in his vignette, he was talking about all she talks about is her business. So he was probably giving the energy of, I'm off put by it. Don't come talk to me about your $100,000 loss.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. I mean, it could be, but they became good friends though. I mean, Kevin wanted to know. Everybody wanted to know why couldn't it be romantic? What was stopping him? I liked he asked the question because everybody was thinking like, did y'all ever try? You're like, well, everybody was telling us to try it and see if it works out and see if we do it. We thought about it one night. It just never got there. And I wonder if it one of the nights where Clint was like sloppy drunk and was drinking. It's like, you know what? Let's try this.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, you know what? No.
You think so?
You think so? She was hurt by the slender comment. Which when you play it again, when they played it again, he never said anything about weight.
No.
And I kept looking like, what was offensive about the comment? And I really had to go back to it and like, you know what? Nicole blew that out of proportion. When it was all sitting there, Nicole blew it out of proportion.
No, she felt like it was a jab at her. And we were talking about preferences. He said, this is what I usually like. Not that I can't like you, but you're just not my type. It's the same thing that Chris said, but Chris said in his vignette was different. She's a little bit thicker than I'm used to, but in a good way. Maybe if Clint had said, I usually like athletic and tender, but I'm not opposed to.
He had to add that. If he had added that, I'm not opposed to, it would have changed it. But she was already feeling away because she had told him that she didn't like ginger. So
right.
What she felt was that he was attacking her for his comment. And that wasn't, I don't think that that's what it was. I wasn't offended by it because I'm not slender or having an athletic build, but I'm fine as fuck. Excuse my language. So, I mean, and that's how Gina should have approached it. Like, you lucky to be in my presence. If I'm not what you like, by the time we finish this, I will be what you like. Like, that's what I don't know. So I think that she was just reeling off of her negative comment and him calling her on it, and she thought it was a jab back.
Yeah.
Like Jada said, her insecurities are high.
Yes. I think it was insecurity because she doesn't have the confidence or didn't have the confidence. Nicole didn't have the confidence. And I think that was one of, you didn't hear Kirsten say anything, and she knows she's thicker than a snicker. She didn't say anything. She didn't say anything about, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So, again, it's how you perceive it, and you know who you are and how you deal with it. And she couldn't deal with that comment at all. It might have been a jab, but he said, I spent 40 minutes apologizing. That was 39 minutes too long.
Too long. Because I don't even know you like that, girl. All it could have been was, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to affect you that way. Can we move forward? Let's try and hit a restart. I don't know.
Yeah. They didn't address the ginger comment because I think sometimes it always makes the man look like he's the aggressor. Gina said the ginger comment, or the bad guy. Mm-hmm. They should have addressed the ginger comment. Because Clint didn't care, and most of the time Clint could care less about the ginger comment. He was like, "Okay, good, we married for 8 weeks. Let's still try this." But they had to blow this slender and athletic comment. I box. I go to the gym every day.
I still say, what's more offensive? To me, it's more offensive to say you don't like something that I can't change. He can't change being a ginger. You can lose weight. You can become more athletic. You know, I was like, you're so offended about something that you can change, but you really criticize something that's genetic for him.
Right.
That he has no control over.
Right. You're right. You know, he did say it was offensive, but he was able to wash that bad boy off and let it.
He washed a whole lot of stuff off. Her saying that he didn't have no swag.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Her saying that he was goofy or silly. He was able to throw water off a duck's back like it was nothing. He was not really offended when he could have been. And he, like you said, 1,000 pieces. She definitely owed him an apology for the
jam.
Well, you know, like you said,
you could see he was visibly hurt when it was originally said. So, like.
And then I feel like I feel like they set him up when he had that date on the after decision day. And she was like, well, I don't really go for ginger. And he's like, you're a freaking ginger yourself. What are you talking about? He said, here we go again. Y'all playing with me, right? I know he wanted to look at the producer, right? Oh, this is a setup. He set me up. Really?
Y'all think Clint got flagged?
I think he does.
He does. If I was into that, I would holler at Clint. Hell, I'm not into that. Not Mike. You want to take me selling? You know what I'm saying? I might go put on my little water shoes and learn how to sail or whatever. How am I supposed to dress for this? Because I'm coming. You know what I mean? Like, right. I might, do a little adventure. Okay, he's traveling and carrying on, skiing everywhere. Now I can't ski, but Clint, I'm gonna go learn on these bunny slopes so that I could be able to join you, because in the evening we're gonna drink hot chocolate and take shots and sit in front of the fire. Like, listen, I doubt it, but you know what I'm saying.
Definitely, man. It's I just thought they had something. It was there. I thought they could have, but it didn't work out. And they still better friends now than they were on the show. Like, and Kevin asked her flat out, like, what do you think this could be? She's like, I don't know.
Well, Clint should have said nothing, because I got a girl now, and she doing all the things that I want to do. That's how. But he's a gentleman, so he did not. He did not. He could have busted her, but could have busted everybody's bubble, but he waited until the question was asked. So
yeah, they wasn't.
D said he had vanilla swag.
I'm gonna use Talisa's word. He got Dove swag.
Yeah.
They might be cordial. Yeah, they said they cordial. He said he moved out the apartment. He moved in the apartment complex where Nicole and Chris is now. So I
think that was probably good anyway, because they probably got tired of seeing each other.
And he didn't want her to accuse her of taking Hank. I don't know, like where Hank at? He at Clint apartment again. So let's move on to this couple. We'll be here for you. Shaq and Kirsten. And Shaq listening to a Schoolhouse Prophet.
Listen, I know a prophetic word can come from anybody, but that ain't what he said.
Child. That's the same thing I said to Lee. I said he did not say say no on decision day.
He said make the best decision for yourself. And the best decision would have been to continue with Kirsten. Anyway, and now you recognize. Okay, go ahead and go.
You go ahead. He could have been talking about the decision to take another job. He could have been talking about a decision to move. It could be all of those. What?
You know how you do when you're in the moment and you want a decision. He's sitting there like, "Oh, gotta be this decision." Now, mind you, I don't know what school Shaq is in. I don't know. It might be theological, whatever, seminary. But I'm sorry. Sometimes you got to take the prophet for what it's worth. Like, bro, are you right? Like, is it confirmation in your spirit?
I was just about to say, does it confirm with what God has said to you separately?
Right, that's confirmed.
I'm waiting on. I'm just looking at the chat, looking for J Dub. Like,
because I agree with J Dub because he said it.
He was
because he just was pulling stuff out of the air because he didn't have a clear thought. He said it was a prophet. Then he went to something else. Then he went to something else. And then when Kevin asked, like, "Do you regret it?" He was like, "You know what? I do."
But he didn't answer.
He regret not being with that girl. Oh, he regrets not being with her, and she has every right to be. And she had every right to be hot as fire.
And she know it. And she was like, I'm the best thing that he has ever. He missed out on a good thing.
She said it.
She said I'm a good thing, and he missed out on a good thing. And the fact that she said, I wanted to see what it looked like beyond the 8 weeks so that we could have the connection without all the, people around, maybe it would have looked different. And that could be. And then y'all could have came back here and been like, okay, so we tried it and it just wasn't what it was because of communication. Him and it.
Yeah, and
I was waiting on J-Dub.
I know.
I've been waiting on J-Dub. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
He was just like pulling stuff out of the air, and then for him to say, it was a yes up until I even got there that day. It turned into a no.
When I found it out,
even when she started like. She got the Y out for yes, and I still didn't think she was gonna say yes. Like, dude, you sound stupid. You knew she was gonna say yes. Well, I didn't know if maybe we could try it after. She was like, that was the point in saying yes, to see if once the cameras leave and real life set in, could we deal with each other? And he was looking all silly in the face.
When she ran through, I washed clothes, I did dishes, I cooked dinner, I packed his lunch. I did all this for him, and
I didn't get any support.
And that's what I'm like. You didn't get no support or no attention, bruh. She did things that most women in today do not do, and modern women do not do. She went through the whole gamut. I thought about Elijah one. All the things Elijah one wanted Katina to do, Kirsten was like, I'm doing that and then
Right.
some. And I'm a working woman. And I'm here. And I'm up when you get home. And you can't spend me. So again, he lost attraction to her. And he treated her like such.
I also think when he says support, because here we go back to those love languages, she was doing acts of service, which is her love language. When he needed affirming, he needed to know, you're doing a good job. I really appreciate you sitting down and taking the time to talk to me. I really like it when I love it when he needed constant affirming. And that's not who she is. She is
Hercules. That's what he needed.
D, you funny. D say Shaq gonna make a PSA soon.
Yeah, he did that. He needed all that. I mean, he needed her to stroke his ego, to stroke his back, to be his arm piece. Because I read languages. He always wanted her to be there so people can see that he actually has a woman on his shoulder. For whatever reason it is, he wanted to say, I got a woman, I got a wife, she's banging, and he wanted to take her out, wanted to show around the city, show around the town. And he did the very exact same thing that McKinley did. As soon as everything was over, he took the first job out of town.
Sure did.
So again, remember they had that conversation. Like he didn't tell her about the job offer before, because I think he was really wanting to take that job, and he didn't know if she was going to move with him or not.
Maybe that was the decision, wasn't it, Jackie? That was the decision the prophet was talking about.
Right.
That might have been the decision. But
or it was something else. You have to live for yourself and be who you are. Maybe
living your right, living your truth, living your truth. But he regrets the fact that he didn't. I know people like, oh, they might not have made it, or Kirsten did this, but she opened up. It like they reversed roles. When she was open, he was closed, and when he was closed, she was open. It's like y'all can never get on the same page. He was like, oh, we couldn't communicate. We didn't have time to communicate. We worked on individual communication, but we didn't work on collective communication.
Mm-hmm. And you know how you work on collective communication? You sit down and you talk
to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even work through that hard, the uncomfortable, awkward parts, the silence where there is a disconnect. You work through that. But hell, what do I know? I was only married one time.
You have to have the tough conversations in marriage. Mm-hmm. And in 8 weeks, to me, I don't think is enough on this show for us to have all the tough conversations or you to see me grow. Mm-hmm. You got to have some type of growth. That's where the marriages get better over the 8 weeks, over the time frame. Having some, I think about Brianna and Vincent. They wasn't always on the same page. Mm-mm. You know, but they worked through it. Shoot, Shawnee and
Shawnee's and Jeopardy.
Shawnee's and Jeopardy wasn't always on the same page. But look at them, you know, and where they're at now because it was able to get collective, be able to communicate with each other, you know, and have that communication that was there. Shaq needed somebody to communicate. He needed to communicate to her. Why is it that I need you around me so much? Why is it that I need you to stroke my ego? Why is it that I need you to affirm me? And for him to say I couldn't live up to her expectations,
and she said that was you. I never said none of that. You put that on yourself. It's definitely the grasshopper mentality.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She may not have vocally said it, but that them expectations that she was saying aloud, like you need to buy a house and I need a new car. Those kind of things.
With those things, yeah.
Made him infer, and he needed to clarify by saying whatever. But I feel like there was something that she was doing that may have made him think that he couldn't live up to her expectations. I mean, at one point, we all were saying, oh, she's got unrealistic expectations for somebody that's, you know, newly married. But listen.
I think you're right when it comes to the house and that kind of thing. But I think some of that other stuff, like, bro, you didn't even try. Like how she said, you know, my dad was a provider and, you know, it maybe not a $2 million house, but you know what I'm saying? But I think for the other stuff, he really did let his own inadequacies of what he thought of himself. I would say too, if you're looking for a man to buy you a $2 million house, this is not to me.
Like right now,
not maybe not never. Forget that.
Absolutely. And he dang it, I lost it. It's okay. I lost it.
But he did some things. He was changed. Remember in the early episodes, he changed the tire. He met us somewhere and did some things like that for her. So he could have been like, you know what, we can work towards this. We can move toward these things. Here are some goals. Or you know what, Kirsten, let's sit down and write our 5-year goals. Or let's sit down and write our year goal and see how they match up. See where we can compare. See where we can fit. What are you looking for in a husband? I'm just thinking, if I'm married at first sight, my first night with this person, I can't remember who said, we stayed up all night asking each other questions and talking and getting answers. We're going to have to revisit these conversations over and over again, and so we can get on the same page. Mm-hmm. So we can understand and know what's going on. Not like an interview, but to build a relationship.
Yeah. It came back. He has said, I didn't know what marriage looked like. Mm-hmm. To that effect. And I think that affected him immensely because he did not know how marriage worked. Because if we keep it a band, y'all been married, almost 2 decades, over 2 decades? Y'all, Jackie, Glenn, how long y'all been married?
He over here shaking up his cup. I couldn't even hear you.
I'm sorry. We've been married 21 years, be 22 in October.
Right. And not always still, 22 years in, you guys still aren't always in alignment with certain things, but you have a conversation. And because he doesn't know what marriage looks like, that's the thing. That's the whole thing. That's the thing that you have in your friendships, in your familialships, that you are not always on the same page, but somehow you compromise and you get to the same place. Like, I don't know. Listen.
No, you're right. You got to have, as a guy, as a man, we talked about this a couple of days ago in this men group I was in. You got to, and J-Dub kind of said it, you got to have some kind of goal or vision or leadership.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you got to come in and rule with an iron fist. But what it means is you got to have some type of vision as a husband. And I'm not talking about TV vision, right? I'm not talking about the Huxtable marriage. I'm talking about something that you've seen and heard that you want a marriage. And then what you do is like anything else. You bring this to your wife. Say, can we do this? Or what can you tweak on this? How do you see our marriage? And let's see how we align together. What aligns in here? How do we build the corporation or whatever their last name is? How do we maintain this for the future? What are our financial goals, right? What are our home goals? What are our children goals, right? When do we want kids? So let's have this conversation. Where do you want to live at? Are you willing to move from Nashville? If I get another job, are you willing to move to Nashville? Or do you want to stay in Nashville, right? So those are the type of conversations I think they never had. How do you handle me when I'm upset? This is how I want you to handle me when I'm mad or when I'm crying or when I'm upset, when I don't know the answer. Do you want me? I think it was when she talked about early in the season, well, he don't hug me and kiss me when he comes home. Well, did you tell me how to hug and kiss you, how to treat you? Those are the type of conversations they need to have on Married at First Sight and work those processes out and realize, okay, in line or doesn't line, not just not talk to each other. You're not roommates. And we saw sometimes they thought they were roommates just walking in the house, walking past each other. And those are couples that do not make it when you think you're a roommate for 8 weeks.
And see, that's what I was going to say that Talisa touched on earlier. The opposite, like, you know, that Kirsten was giving her love language to Shaq. I feel like sometimes that's what he wasn't on her page with her love language either. They were both missing that.
Yeah.
She just probably wasn't as vocal about it as him.
Yeah, he may not want a big fine woman. She was. I told Jack when we was watching, like, she's giving a lot of leg in that yellow dress.
Leg.
Listen.
She was giving
she had the cleavage. The Cleveland
out. Killing it in that dress, honey. I was like, if you don't wear that yellow, I was like, Kirsten, yeah. There are several men in your inbox right now today, okay? Listen, come on, girl. I was like, you fine, okay? Stunning. Listen.
She does a body.
Body. She was
giving body. She was.
Yeah.
She was giving one. And I'm sure he probably looked at it. It's like,
oh, when he saw her, he was like, dang.
He did.
Hit him upside the head like, boom. Wow,
You know that's what they do though. They come in looking like, see, because I know that whenever I see an ex, I could be in t-shirt and some flip flops. My energy tells you that you have fumbled the bag. I might throw on some lip gloss and stand straight up tall because you're gonna be like, dang, I missed it.
Most of the experts dropped the ball on these marriages. I want to see next week because sometimes I think we think the experts are not talking to them, but they are talking to them. We just don't see it. I think Clint said it where we heard the experts gave us a lot of things to do, a lot to say, and we worked all those things. We just wasn't attracted to each other. So I'm waiting for Pastor Cal next week and Dr. Pepper, and I think was Dr. P was on there.
Yeah, I think
to see for they can to attack some of these, not attack, but to go at some of these couples. Like, look, bro, you really messed up here, or you really sis, you messed up here.
Because if I remember correctly, I feel like didn't Pastor Cal tell him something to that effect, like get out of your head?
Yeah,
you need to get out of your head.
Yeah,
and he didn't listen. So I think they probably gave them some advice. They just didn't follow through. And as a side note, that's one thing. If you watch the tell-all, that was one of the pieces of advice that I think Henry gave them. You have to let go. Whatever you expect to happen, forget that. You can't come in there with a preconceived notion of I want it to go this way, because 9 times out of 10 it's not. And so a lot of the couples in this season, I think, came in and were so stuck on, let's take Arris, for example, so stuck on how they expected it to go and what they expect to get, that once it didn't meet that expectation, they just did not know how, they didn't know what to do.
Got to maneuver. I mean, at least Dom was like, you know what? It ain't going to work. You're going to move. I'm checking out.
I wish he had to move because he really did prove her right.
He did prove her right. And for whatever he could, all the things that he could say about, I did it because, I was planning on growing roots here. I did it because I didn't get married or whatever. You just proved the point that her intuition, her discernment is on 20.
Yep.
On 20.
Yep.
I can't wait till they get to those two. They have their little conversation, their little piece. I want to see where she's at.
Now, as a side note, I feel like Dominique was trying to give body, but
she needed to tape her boobs up. They was too low.
Yeah.
They was too low.
According to her, everybody wants to see her boobs.
Yeah, they want pictures of her cleavage. Listen, I told y'all, if I had some boobs, you would Google my name and an OnlyFans would show up because I'd be giving.
She wanted, and I think Max started that because all he talked about the episodes they were on was her boobs. Like, she got a great set of boobs. I like her boobs. I like her boobs. I like her boobs. It made it seem bad for him. That's all he wanted to talk about. And he apologized to her. He was out of an angry place with the whole dog situation. And
I felt like that was silly.
Yeah.
I felt like that was silly.
It was silly. It was, look, it was one of those things where we'll see next week with those two. But back to Shaq and Kirsten. I'm not saying she's innocent in none of this, because I don't want. She had a lot to deal with the miscommunication they had, from the not being attracted to him at first, to her then being attracted to him, to her. I don't know if she did. I think she whined a lot too. The way that she talked could turn you off.
Yeah,
it was very needy. It was
needy. Yeah, it was very needy, very needy. And so that probably turned them off. And when we keep seeing Shaq come in the house late, that tells you that he's a man that don't want to be at home. When you got a guy that he used to be there early, and next he started getting later and later and later and later, and you don't know what he's doing, and then he come in and just drop the bag off. Towards the clips that we saw with Shaq, he was done. He was checked out then. He just didn't tell her. And I think we said it too on the show. We always said, there's no way in the world I could be on the show and we go to a week up to decision day. I don't know your answer.
I told you not finna embarrass me.
Baby, she could have flipped the table. If she would have flipped the table, nobody would have been mad at her except for Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper, because he would have been on the other side of that. Because she had every right to flip the table. Because you could have told me that I'm leaning towards a no. Because my mentee told me that I needed to make the decision. I would have flipped the table probably today. When you think right, What?
She didn't.
That's why
She
ain't no
didn't
tables. That's exactly why it ain't no tables. Or at least I probably would have did one of them. You know, them one of them.
Mushed up, mushed in the forehead.
She didn't. You know what? We have. You know what's funny? We have never seen none of that on any of the Married at First Sights. When somebody says,
"Give me that, give me that," everything
They
else
have really held their composure. They have.
Yeah.
I think the closest we came, it was
Chris and Paige.
No, Chris and Paige, no, but let's go back some, and I can't remember her name.
Sam.
Yes,
Sam.
She like stormed out, like, man, please.
Yeah,
she was hot.
She got blindsided. She thought it was gonna be a yes, and she got up and just rolled out. Y'all gotta check that out.
They do that on purpose, and they might have something in their contract that say they can't act the fool. If you act the fool, you're not gonna get paid. Listen,
you gotta keep your hands off each other.
You're gonna pay me, but today I'm finna to flip this table. I'm gonna mush the hell out of him. I'm gonna point in his forehead. I'm gonna make him want to fight me where production has to pull me off of him. Because how dare you?
Like, be like,
not that much decorum.
It'd have been a whole lot of bleeping. I know the bleep, 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 bleep. They'd be like, calm down. Nuh-uh.
This would have been a Housewives series. Easy.
She said she wanted to strangle him. She said she really wanted to strangle him.
I don't know. To me, she said she wanted to. I mean, I would have shot so many daggers. I feel like she wasn't shooting enough daggers with her eyes.
I would have definitely said some.
Yeah, Taylor and Brandon.
Oh yeah. Oh, but Brandon came late. Brandon acted a whole donkey.
Child. I would have at least said something. My tongue would have cut him at minimum. At minimum,
yeah.
They would have known some of the things that he was not. Some of the inadequacies that he carried. I know I would have said something. I know I could not have just been looking like. No.
She was hot for days.
I would have been like, "What you say? Say it to my face."
What? And then would have mushed him right after that.
Yep.
I don't.
As soon as he got closer.
Asshole.
Can I go now? Can I go now? I don't want to sit next to him.
Pastor Cal probably clapped you up too. Like, good job.
Yeah, because I don't know how these people, especially her, like when you think that they're gonna say yes. What was their names? The Virgin and
Arris and Keith.
Arris and Keith. She said yes, and he was like, "Why would I?"
She was like enthusiastic, excited about her yes. And he was like, boom, boom, shot holes all in it. She was like,
she was hurt.
Oh my God.
Or the other one, Jasmine, another Jasmine, and Will. From Philly. Jasmine and Will from Philly, where he was like, she said yes, she was good, nice looking lady.
And he was like, no, she didn't emotionally, intellectually stimulate me. I don't want now.
That might be a whole different series. We just talk about those no's that set you off, right? A whole panel discussion on Married at First Sight no's that made you mad.
Baby.
But it's just one of those things where I think Kirsten's gonna find somebody for her. I think it's gonna take Shaq a while. Because he said he's back in therapy. He realized there were some things that he had to work on. And I think the inadequacy for him feeling like he can't be man enough, to me, that's a big issue. When a man feel like he can't be man enough to take care of a woman.
And then it goes back to what is his example, right?
Yeah.
It goes back to what is his example. While he's being a mentor, he probably can only mentor them in a certain aspect of life, which is like school. Like you don't mentor them on life because your life is not together. You don't really have a handle on. I can't say what a man looks like and what they're supposed to be. I cannot. But I can say that your example, you look at what your examples are, right? So I got these two boys. There's no man here. Well, my husband, God rest his soul, came in and Royal picked up what it looked like. And now Kingston is looking at Royal, but they also have my brothers. I can't I can tell you how I think men should treat me as a woman, but I can't tell you how to be a man. You need an actual representation of whatever that looks like. I don't, for you and your family dynamic, whatever that looks like, you need an accurate representation of what a man looks like. I can't tell you. TJ ain't finna come for me, okay? He not finna come for me.
Right. I think he missed that because again, he didn't see the marriage. And if you look at some of the shows, some of the guys who leave the women on a Married at First Sight, or even some of the women, they have not seen a successful marriage. They don't know what it would take to be a successful marriage. They don't know all the ins and outs of what it means, how to handle. You're gonna have some ups, you're gonna have some downs, but we can still be on one accord. We still work towards the same vision. And guess what? Every marriage is not gonna have every day ain't gonna be 100%. There can be some miscommunication throughout the day. There can be sometimes that you may not even like your spouse, but you still love them. That happens in marriages. So and relationships. So it's one of those type things. And if you can't, go get the help that y'all need to keep it going. Black women get the short end. I feel like a lot of black women get the short end of the stick on the Married at First Sight. I would say maybe not, but I think majority of the couples that are still married are black. I think majority of the couples that are still married are black couples.
Look at Jackie calculating in her head.
I know,
no, you gotta go.
Keith and Christine.
We
got Amani and Woody. We got Shawnice and Jeppy.
Right.
I guess we're counting Brianna and Vincent.
Brianna and Vincent.
Deanna
and Greg.
Who am I missing?
That's 5.
Katina and Lajuan, they so off and on.
They 6 though. They
count them, but that's 6.
That's 6.
So, who else? Is somebody else? I feel like there's one more I'm missing.
No, they done. Miles and Karen. If that's who you
Miles and Karen done. So it's 6. And I think you have majority of those couples who are staying together. I'm not saying it is what it is, but
I think that they are the higher percentage when you
we do it all at a high percentage.
But I agree though. I was telling my husband that I feel like some of these couples, they just really, because I know they try to put it on the experts, but we've also heard that in the end, the producers are the ones that pick the couples. And I really do feel like a couple of them, they just pick train wrecks. Because if everybody went good, you wouldn't have a show.
But wouldn't you? You know what I mean? I would think that if you pick people that were stable, really ready to be married, who are getting therapy on their own, and have made strides in their career, in their life, and are open to criticism, change, advice, whatever, I think it would be successful. We'd be all like, oh, marriage does work. Oh, this is great. Oh, I think we would be more open to it. I would be like, let me go see what they're doing today. I'm excited.
Yeah.
To see what real marriage looks like when it is working, but they have to work through stuff, because you still gonna have the missing communications, right? You still gonna have the disagreements and the we're not aligned, or I want kids and he don't, we gonna still have those. So I feel like we could, I don't know.
Now you good point there. Miles and Karen, I don't know officially if they're divorced, but they're separated. I'm gonna use separated. They haven't came out and said it was officially divorced.
No.
Graham Cracker, good comment there.
He's coming in with a word. He's coming in with a word.
You see it coming in with a word there. Coming hot. Good word. Love never ends. Prophecy and prophecy does pass away. Tongues that will cease. If with knowledge, it will pass away. Also, it will cease. All that will. Love never ends. Love is still there. Love will always be there. And love is one of the greatest things. But I think Shaq had to love himself first, and I think he had a problem with loving himself.
Come on, come on with the word. Come on.
He had a problem loving himself, and so he couldn't love her the way that he needed to love her, because he had some inadequacies in himself. If I only can love myself 70%, how can I love somebody else 100?
Can't do it.
You can't do it. So I have to, because when we in this thing together, I have to love her as much as I love myself, because how can two walk together except they agree? So we got to be somewhere on the same page, because you can't. I'm not gonna let things happen here. We got to be able to love each other enough to even disagree with each other and know that we still love each other. It's amazing. I think we're talking about my daughter, somebody, or my son. Sometimes this generation, I don't say this generation, people today, they take disagreements as being someone attacking them. Disagreements don't mean I'm attacking you. Disagreement just that we don't agree on, we don't see eye to eye on the same page. But let's learn how to disagree and continue to work together so we can get to the common goal that we need. I may not take your idea, and you may not take my idea, but how can we do this together? Because we work in it. It benefits all of us, right? When you're in a household, you marriage and relationship, it benefits everyone when you do things the right way and when you do it on a good, if everybody's on the same page. So financially, that's a whole. I'll go to the whole Gabrielle Union 50% thing. That's a whole different but that's a whole different
I'm
conversation.
waiting on y'all to come out with the podcast that y'all had talked about. I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on y'all.
We gotta get back. We gotta get back to it.
You over here sharing truths that people need to hear from someone who has been married for over 2 decades. Yeah. Like, hello, I think it's information that we all would like to. We would all like to
get back to the podcast.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna get back to
like, hello, what time? Please not at 8:30 on Saturday morning because I'm gonna miss it.
No. We can get back to the podcast. But again, marriage is something that works. Everybody got to work into it, and it's a good something that we do. So I think these couples need that though. They need that conversation. They need those. Shaq need to see you're gonna make mistakes as a man. You ain't gonna always live up to the expectations, but are you striving towards those expectations? What are you putting yourself in? And that goes to the whole bus driver and millionaire, and we'll do a whole Simone and Rashid situation.
What you waiting on? What you waiting on?
But that goes to the whole situation. If you and your partner committed, but I'm done with that. We're done with that. That's a whole different. We've been on for an hour, so that's a whole different one when we deal with that. So I've been behind. We've been behind this week because we've been at a conference. So I wanted to make a video on Rashid and Simone a little bit later. That whole situation. I want to try to drop some stuff on that because
it's never too late. It's never too late.
It's never too late because it's different opinion. So different opinion on it. I think it can be worked out. And I know she's tried a lot of different things, and he's gonna have to man up. He did man up and confess that he had some issues financially, can't handle it, can't hold on to them. But can you get the help that you need? So. I said that one time. Let us pick the couple. We're in the technology age. Let us one season.
Vote. Yeah.
One season. Let us vote on who we want to see. Then go record it, and they'll go tape it, and see how it works out.
I think it would be great.
Mona, that'd be a great idea. I think it would be a great idea.
I hope, dear Married at First Sight producers, not the executive producers because they just giving money. Producers, please listen to what Mona said, and then send her a little compensation for her her idea.
Yep, let's pick it on where we at. So next week, part 2, experts. We'll see. We see what goes on, what goes down. I'm sorry, y'all. This season has been long.
And it's not.
I saw in the chat they said it's 3 more. Where have they been after reunion part 2? Don't ask me. Don't send me no link. I'm not coming.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, usually in this part of July, we're getting ready to go to the next season. We're not still talking about the season that happened in these. I want y'all to understand this. This season happened in December. Right? We've been talking about this season since December, a whole 7 months.
That's great.
And when Kirsten said, and I wish you a Merry Christmas, it really put it in perspective. I was like, man, we've been doing this for a long time.
A long time. Let this thing ride. Let this season die. There's some season that I would have liked to see more, like New Orleans and different things, but this is not the season that we want extra stuff on. This is not it. So
yeah, agreed.
3 of them. So yeah, I'm saying what you're sharing. Why? Long they keep showing episodes, we're gonna give a review. I'm sorry we didn't get one last week. We just was tired. It just didn't want to do the whole Where Are They Now, or what was that called? I don't even know what it was called.
It was a cast tell-all.
But we'll do the reunion and we'll do Where Are They Now. That's it. Those are the only 2 more that you get from us is the reunion. And if the Where Are They Now is interesting, you may get that one. I'm gonna have to watch it first. So we may not get a panel. Talisa looking at me like whatever.
I'm gonna do my best to make it next week. We got tournaments next week. I'm gonna do my best to make it next week. But after that,
we'll be on the road next week, so we have to play on the time. We'll be out of
okay.
We've been on the road next week, so we have to play with the time a little bit. So we'll see where we at. You may get one, you may not, but it depends how we flow it. How my driving goes, how fast we can get there. But anyway, oh man, any other thing you want to promote, Talisa? What you got coming out? I see you doing what was that? The also you doing a new show?
Listen, okay, so I have not been consistent, and I be feeling really bad, and the reason is because here lately is I'm tired. I am a basketball mom. My friends make fun of me and say, "Oh, you a mother now," because I'm constantly at practice or on the road or something, and I just have not figured out the dynamic. So here's what I want to say. If you're already subscribed to my channel, thank you. Go back and re-put your notifications on because sometimes you guys aren't getting it. So I'm gonna finish off what are we doing? Summer House, Martha's Vineyard, and I am gonna go back to Ultimatum Queer Love. And I know that a lot of people are, not a lot, but there are people that are, against LGBTQIA plus. But a relationship is a relationship. We can learn stuff from whomever relationship we're looking at. And that is the point for me. For me, do what you want. I'm not here to judge, but I am here to look at your relationship and pick it the entire F apart. So, so there.
We do got the new Ready Love coming up in July.
Where's that one gonna be?
In Dallas.
Okay,
Ready Love
okay,
Dallas. July 7th. That's coming out.
Oh, it's coming. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Are we doing a panel?
Let's do a panel, please. If you're down with a panel, I'm down with a panel.
I'm down with a panel, but I'm gonna try and actually review it too. But if we do a panel, you can at least get my opinion on the panel.
We're talking to see what day works best for you. We'll work it out.
Weekdays work all right, I think, and it's starting in the summer, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what they work. We're still doing the one. Kurt Franklin's the one.
We gotta do this week.
We gotta do this week. Just look for that here. Sometimes maybe tonight, tomorrow. Just look for it. It's coming. And we're working on let's see what else. Ready to Love gonna come up. We do Dallas. And then that's it for right now. And then as Talisa told us, we're gonna work on this podcast thing. Come back with matrimony thoughts as we share you guys some wisdom. So
matrimony thoughts. I love that. I can't wait. I'm so excited. From your mouth to God's ears. Well, excuse me, because y'all been saying it from my mouth to God's ears.
Yeah. So we're gonna come back with that matrimony thoughts. So just look forward, check it out. We're gonna post it here on the channel. And you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for rocking with us. I did see Simone's interview with Little Black Book with Kojo. I didn't see the one. I saw part of the one with Kamisha that she did. I saw Rashid's situation, and
he was talking too much, too long. I was trying to fast forward, like get to the point, bro. Like, what are we doing?
Maybe reach out to him. So
I need a synopsis.
When we stop, I give you a synopsis.
I'm gonna watch your video when it comes because it was too much information. So
I did. Yeah. I did like Simone's interview. It was with Kojo, and I reached out and let him know that it's a good interview that he did there with her. So, well, that's all we got this week from Married at First Sight. You guys have a great one. Enjoy your week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rocking with us in the chat, and we'll talk soon. Talk to you later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.